Today I'm going to be a UPD officer, and most of you are going to be students like you are already, and for those of you who aren't, you can just be you. Imagine we're all sitting here right now like we are today, and all of a sudden we hear gunshots outside of this door. What are we going to do? 46% of active shooter instances between 2000 and 2013 identified by the FBI happened at a commercial place, like a grocery store or restaurant, somewhere we each visit every single day. 24% happened at an educational institution, much like one we're currently sitting in. Active shooter instances can happen anywhere and to anyone. They're untargeted, so everyone's at risk for them. Today I'm going to go through the steps of what to do in an active shooter situation, and then I'm going to relate it to the room we are currently sitting in. The first thing to try to do in an active shooter situation is to try and evacuate the area. Get as far away from possible. The military suggests getting 3 land objects away, whether it's 3 buildings, 3 hills, 3 objects away, putting as much distance as you can. Once you're in that safe place, recollect your thoughts. Dial 911. And please let them know things like the shooter's identification, what he's wearing, what he looks like. Give them exact locations of where you are, as specific as you can to help them get there and identify the shooter. Also tell them how many shooters they are. Anything else you can give them to help them react faster and better to the situation. The second thing to try to do is to hide out in the area that you're in. If you can't evacuate, you must hide out. Lock the doors, turn off your cell phones, which includes the vibrate, most of us don't think of that, and hide out. Get as many objects as you can, make yourself invisible in that room. One place we actually saw this work really well was in Sandy Hooks Elementary School. One teacher heard the shooting going on, hid all of her students in the cabinets in the back of her room, so when the shooter came in, all he saw was her sitting there. She said, "The kids have gone to recess." And the shooter said, "Okay, although he shot her and she died that day, every student sitting in that room was saved, thanks to her, because he had no idea they were there and he didn't go looking for them." So if you can hide out, make yourself invisible, you're less of a target. One thing while hiding out is if you get a chance to escape, escape. One place we saw this happen was the Aurora movie theater shooting. The gunman tried to reload his gun at the front of the theater, and many people were allowed to escape out of exits like this in that brief moment that they had. But it takes a brief moment. You have to be able to react in that situation. The third thing to do is if you are unable to hide out and unable to evacuate is to try and take action. 56% of active shooter instances are stopped by the active shooter himself, whether it's killing himself, running away, or just stopping the shooting. However, 13% of active shooter instances are actually stopped by unarmed citizens much like us today. Simply taking action, going after the shooter, trying to stop him and get no one else hurt. One place we all saw this work really well is Paris, the train attack. That day, 3 Marines stepped up, stopped the shooter in his tracks. Although they all were severely injured, no one died that day thanks to them. They all took that moment, seized it, and got the shooter out of harm's way. Another place we saw this happen was at a university, much like one we're sitting in. Seattle Pacific University. One student seized the opportunity. He had mace in his pocket and actually attacked the shooter with mace and was able to get the gun away from the shooter. This stopped the shooter in his tracks. The people were able to hold down the shooter until police arrived so that he couldn't go on and shoot anywhere else. Now that I've told you what to do in an active shooter situation, I'm going to relate it to the room we are currently sitting in. Give you a real life perspective of what would happen if we actually were sitting here. So let's say he's in the hallway outside. What are we going to do? First thing is to try and lock the doors in the back. But like many of the rooms in this classroom, in this building, we know that they don't have locks on them. So we're going to try and barricade them, move objects. There aren't many in this room, which is going to make it hard. But we do have doors up front, so we could evacuate. Let's say that's not an option. We can't evacuate, we can't hide out. We're going to have to take action. Luckily, we've got enough of us in here. We've got some big boys, we've got some girls. We're going to be able to take action. One thing they tell you to do is have 3 people stand at each doorway. You can have a girl poke the eyes out, hit the shooter in the face, something to distract him in a quick moment. The second thing to do is have someone big and strong try and get the gun away from the shooter. And the third person actually try and hold the shooter down. Once you've got the gun as far away as you can, everyone hold the shooter down and let police know where you are and that you've got them, or at least one. If there are others, hopefully someone else can go after them. Active shooter incidences happen in under 5 minutes, almost all of them. Therefore, it is imperative to be prepared, to look in every room you walk into and have your action plan in hand. Know the exits, know what objects you can move, and know how to take action with those around you. If everyone's prepared in an instance, it can make everyone safer.